LCJ Live. It's Sunday, January 19, 2025. Our third show of the new year. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for being here. There's a lot to talk about. Oscar nominations are now this Thursday. Critics' Choice Awards is now Feb 7. We have a new box office champion. Sort of. It depends on how the estimates and the actuals go over the next couple days. Wolfman completely flopped, and more. A lot to talk about here today on LCJ Live. As always, send in your questions and your comments if you're watching here on YouTube Live. Thank you, and happy National Popcorn Day. That's what I've got my friend the Popcorn Pez here with me. It's Popcorn Day. I think a lot of theater chains are doing some special deals. So if you're at the movies today, and I think a lot of people will be, especially families, because of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. A lot of kids have school off tomorrow, so a lot of families may be going to the movies today for some popcorn deals, and then tomorrow on the holiday. Your number one movie is One of Them Days, which I don't think anybody saw coming. The estimates were rising on it, but I think a lot of people, including me, still thought that Wolfman was going to win the weekend, and Wolfman came in third. Last weekend's number one movie dropped to fifth. Wow, One of Them Days, number one for the 3-day, with $11.6 million. Now, there's Mufasa, the Lion King, just behind it in second place with $11.5 million for the 3-day. But Disney is estimating a 4-day win for Mufasa of $15.5 million. So Mufasa with the 4-day, One of Them Days as of now with the 3-day. But when the actual results are released, which may not be till Tuesday because of the holiday tomorrow, you could see Mufasa still win the 3-day. And then you got Wolfman in third with just $10.6 million. That is terrible, but the reviews are terrible. I did not go see Wolfman. I had no interest. And Wolfman, you could, though, see it rise a little bit and the other two fall a little bit. Wolfman has a distant shot at still being number one, but I think Universal is confident at this point that it did not win the weekend, and Sony is thrilled today. Originally, Sony was going to release Paddington in Peru this past weekend, but then decided to move it to February 14. Kids have that February break off the entire next week. It is the same day as Captain America, and Paddington will be number 2 in comparison to Captain America, but Sony's okay with that because they've got that whole week off for kids, and they decided to move One of Them Days up a week from this coming Friday to this weekend, and now it has paid off because it is, as of now, the number one movie in America. Sony is thrilled today for One of Them Days being the champ. But with family movies as well, still making money, like Mufasa, like Sonic the Hedgehog 3 in fourth this weekend, $8.6 million for the 3-day, an estimate of about $11 million from Paramount for the 4-day. Mufasa has made $205.8 million for Disney, and Sonic the Hedgehog 3, $215.8 million for Paramount. It's about to become the 10th biggest Paramount non-Iron Man and non-Transformers movie since at least 1997. I haven't gone farther back than that when it comes to all the Paramount movies, excluding a Transformers film, I think, and an Iron Man film, though I have to look at that again, because, yes, I think that's still the case. Sonic the Hedgehog 3, I believe, is going to be number 10. It's going to pass How to Train Your Dragon. I got to look at that chart again because I'm thinking about some of those Transformers numbers in my head even so. But Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is the biggest of the franchise. It's past $1 billion, this franchise, worldwide. Speaking of $1 billion, Moana 2 has hit $1 billion, becoming just the third 2024 movie to cross $1 billion globally. And it was all Disney films this year: Inside Out 2, Deadpool and Wolverine, and now Moana 2 with $1 billion. Moana 2 in sixth this weekend added $6.1 million. It's at $442.8, and not adjusted for inflation, Moana 2 has passed Shrek 2 to become the 6th biggest animated movie of all time. Shrek 2 made $441 million back in 2004. We're talking almost 21 years ago. And now Moana 2, not adjusted for inflation, has passed Shrek 2. Of course, recently the news came out that Shrek 5 has been delayed 6 months from June of next year to December 2026. Shrek 5 is going to be huge. In fifth this weekend, as I mentioned, last weekend's number one film dropped to fifth. Den of Thieves 2, Pantera, which had a 15 million open for Lionsgate last weekend to be number one, but down to 6.6 for the 3-day. That's a $26.2 million total. Now I'm not quite as confident it'll hit 40 million, and it'll be a little bit shy of what that first Den of Thieves movie did. But because it opened number one, I think there's still a good chance at Den of Thieves 3. I dislike the first half of Den of Thieves 2. Second half, much better, much more compelling. Solid overall for the month of January. In seventh is the second biggest Focus Features movie of all time, Nosferatu. It added 4.3 million. It's at 89.4. It needs about 7 million, a little bit more, to beat Downton Abbey from 2019 to become the biggest Focus Features film ever. It's going to be close. If it ends up with like a surprise Best Picture Oscar nomination, I could see it getting over that mark. It will be close. Nonetheless, Focus is thrilled that Nosferatu is doing as well as it has been. A Complete Unknown, a film that is looking at a Best Picture nomination on Thursday, added 3.8 million this weekend. It's at 57.6. It is now the 9th biggest Searchlight movie, whether as Fox Searchlight or Searchlight Pictures, 9th biggest Searchlight release of all time. That's a big accomplishment for that film. Number 9 is Wicked, which added 3.6 million. It's at 464.5, one of the biggest Universal films ever. And number 10 is Baby Girl, which added 2 million. It's at 25.4 for A24. If Nicole Kidman gets a Best Actress Oscar nomination, it could make a run at $30 million. I don't think Nicole's getting in. She got that Globe nomination and nothing else when it comes to the major awards this season. So I'm not sure it's going to happen. It could still enter A24's top 10 of all time. It needs a few million more. Right behind Baby Girl, another A24 film, The Brutalist, which made close to 2 million in the 3-day estimate. It is up to $5.5 million. It opened in some IMAX theaters around the country this weekend. It officially goes nationwide on Friday. It's looking at a bunch of Oscar nominations. I'm going to give you my predictions for the Oscar nominations coming up in just a few minutes here on LCJ Live. So right now, The Brutalist is behind Baby Girl, 10th place, 11th place, but when the actual results are released in a couple days, I'm thinking The Brutalist might actually get into the weekend box office top 10. Now, originally, some other films were going to go wide this past weekend, but because of the shift in the Oscar nominations, that didn't quite happen. September 5th, September 5th, people have been calling it both ways, the best movie of 2024, only expanded to 121 theaters, though a decent $3,000 per screen average, $365,000. It's at $776,000 total. It will keep expanding, and I hope it gets a Best Picture nomination on Thursday, though I'm not sure it's going to happen. Sing Sing went to about 500 theaters, only did $240,000, $3 million. I think A24 is surprised that Sing Sing has not done nearly as well as they thought it was going to do. And Nickel Boys added a little bit up to 240 theaters, did about 300,000. It's closing in on $1 million for Amazon MGM. Both of those movies, all three of those films, September 5, Nickel Boys, Sing Sing, they're kind of on the bubble when it comes to are they going to get a Best Picture nomination or not. You could see all three get in, two of them, one of them, none of them. All three of those are right there on the bubble. The Substance did expand to more theaters. Don't have the money yet on that. I'm Still Here with Golden Globe Best Actress winner Fernanda Torres. Opened officially in 5 theaters with $125,000. That's a $25,000 per screen average. Not bad for Sony Pictures Classics. Hard Truths did $150,000. Hope and Marianne Jean-Baptiste is on that Best Actress list. And Better Man dropped big, down only 1.8 million total. That's bad for Paramount. And then you've got Homestead, which over 20 million now is the second biggest Angel Studios movie of all time. It passed Cabrini, and second biggest behind Sound of Freedom, which of course made $184 million about a year and a half ago. We will talk about, oh, there goes my sign. There goes the sign. Here's LCJ Live. There's the sign. And you've got some tape here. That's all right. We'll talk about the cancellation of Frasier coming up here on LCJ Live. I want to mention that as well. But I do want to talk about the Oscar nominations, which are going to be Thursday. Let me give you my predictions in the major categories. My thoughts on Best Picture. I am predicting Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Amelia Perez, Nickel Boys, Sing Sing, The Substance, and Wicked. For alternates in that Best Picture category, I give myself 3. I'm Still Here, A Real Pain, and September 5. So those are my Best Picture predictions. For actor in a leading role, I believe it's going to be Adrian Brody, Timothy Chalamet, Daniel Craig, Coleman Domingo, and Ray Fiennes. But you could see Sebastian Stan in that category. For actress, Cynthia Erivo, Carla Sofia Gascon, Marianne Jean-Baptiste, Mikey Madison, and Demi Moore. But watch out for Fernanda Torres, the Golden Globe winner. Animated feature, it's got to be the 5 that seem to be the 5 for this award season. Flow, Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, and The Wild Robot. Alternate, box office juggernaut, Moana 2. Supporting actor, I believe it will be Yura Borisov, Kieran Culkin, Clarence Macklin, Edward Norton, and Guy Pearce. The momentum for Gladiator 2 has gone down. That's why I've got Denzel Washington in the alternate position. Best Supporting Actress, Anjanou Ellis-Taylor, Ariana Grande, Margaret Qualley, Isabella Rossellini, and Zoe Saldana. But look out for Jamie Lee Curtis. And for director, Jacques Audiard, Sean Baker, Edward Berger, Brady Corbet, and Coralie Farge. But it could be a nice day for Denis Villeneuve. So those are my predictions in the Oscar categories. Opening this coming week, Flight Risk. It's the new Mel Gibson action thriller starring Mark Wahlberg. Also Presence, which had some screenings last night, I believe, in Los Angeles with Steven Soderbergh. That's his latest film. He's also got Black Bag opening in March. Between Borders is going to be released. Tomorrow I'll have my thoughts on the new Liza Minnelli documentary. Look for that across my social media platforms. It's called Liza, A Truly Terrific, Absolutely True Story. Brave the Dark from Angel Studios opens Friday, along with an IFC Films release called Inheritance. And then The Colors Within, the latest from G-Kids. It opens nationwide Friday. Naoko Yamada is the director. I spoke with her. Go to animationscoop.com for my Q&A with Naoko Yamada. I enjoyed The Colors Within. It's a nice film. It's about a trio of teens who form this band and write some songs as they're figuring out what it means to grow up and what the next steps are going to be in their lives. And also, one of the teens has the power to experience colors from everyone. She can see colors. Someone she identifies as blue or green or red, and how she sees that. It's kind of like what Pharrell Williams was talking about in Piece by Piece, but a little bit different. So check out that Q&A at animationscoop.com and go see The Colors Within. It opens this week. I have seen Dogman, which opens on the 31st from DreamWorks. The review embargo still doesn't lift for a little bit, so I cannot share opinion on Dogman, but look for some stuff from Animation Scoop and the LCJ Q&A should be coming at you ahead of release of the DreamWorks animated comedy Dogman, which, look, family films are doing well, and I think that will continue to be the case with Dogman, Paddington in Peru, and some others that open in February and March, like that Looney Tunes movie, which I've already seen, The Day the Earth Blew Up. I voted for the SAG Awards winners the other day. The SAG Awards is going to be Sunday, February 23rd on Netflix. I voted for the winners. And the Critics' Choice Awards is now Friday, Feb 7 at 7 p.m. Eastern on E! No red carpet, but the 30th Annual Critics' Choice Awards, as of now, Friday, Feb 7. That's the new date, so a few weeks away. That's going to be a big weekend if that stays. Critics' Choice Friday, Annie Awards Saturday the 8th, Super Bowl Sunday the 9th. Fingers crossed for Fly, Eagles, Fly. Okay, we have a little bit of time left here on LCJ Live. I do want to mention the cancellation of Frasier, which came out late Friday night. Studios like to bury news, bad news on Friday nights, and this is what happened. You know, it's too bad. I think Kelsey Grammer wanted this to go on for 5 or 6 years at least. He said in one interview he wanted to do 100 episodes. Well, at this point, if you do 10 episodes a year, if it's going to be another 8 years, maybe they would have gotten more episodes. I liked the Frasier revival. I did. Was it perfect? No. I think there were episodes in both seasons that weren't great, and there were episodes in both seasons that weren't very entertaining. There's a murder mystery episode in season 2. I believe it's episode 9. That is a highlight of season 2 without question, and is kind of a throwback to the style and the flair and the feel of the original run of Frasier. It was nice to see so many guest stars. come back from the old show, including Perry Gilpin as Roz. Patricia Heaton had a few episodes with Kelsey in season 2. Of course, a Back to You reunion, so that was awesome. And I think they put a lot of care into the story, the emotion, and Kelsey Grammer absolutely on his A game. He wasn't phoning this in at all when it came to the writing. He directed a number of the episodes, and his performance as Frasier Crane. He still got it. And we still care about this character and the new characters that we meet and the older versions of the kids and the new friends and coworkers that we saw with Frasier. There was a lot of care put into this show, and it could be a money issue, a viewership issue. I'm not sure it had quite the impact overall as they hoped for. Putting it on Paramount Plus was an interesting decision because I think a lot of older people who watched the original run maybe don't have Paramount Plus, would have maybe preferred it on the network on CBS. They aired the first 2 episodes of season 1 on CBS, but they kind of buried it after Big Brother and didn't have a ton of promotion behind it. It was just sort of a we'll give them to you thing, and only about 2.5 million people watched. I mean, look at what Shifting Gears is doing for ABC. Tim Allen, all those Home Improvement and Last Man Standing fans, that started with more than 6 million viewers on ABC a couple weeks ago. That Night Court revival started off with 7 million viewers. If Frasier had had a proper debut and it was a pure CBS network show, you could have seen that. And you could have seen it have 12, 15, 20 episodes in a season and still be on. So I'm not sure putting it on Paramount Plus was the right decision. But also, there were a lot of people who say, how can you live up to the original show, which is considered one of the greatest sitcoms of all time, one of my favorite sitcoms of all time, won 37 Emmys, 5 in a row for Best Comedy Series, and this iconic status. How can you match that? Well, it's very difficult to. Even with Kelsey, even with James Burrows directing some episodes and behind it as well, it probably for most people wasn't going to match that. But it was nice after 20 years to see this character again, to experience that writing style and humor again, and to see Kelsey do his thing. He'd been championing this and wanting this for so long, and it is a little unfortunate that he only got 20 episodes out of it. They're saying they're going to try to get, have Hulu and Prime Video look into it. I'm not sure either are going to pick it up. If they do, great, but I'm not quite sure. But to have it only go 20 episodes is a little unfortunate. I think he would have wanted it to go at least a few more years, but at least he can say that he got to play Frasier Crane again for a little bit longer, to come back to his most iconic role. Yes, there's Sideshow Bob and so many others, but he will always be remembered as Frasier Crane, and for him to be able to do that again is nice, and it was very enjoyable as a diehard fan of the show to watch these episodes. As a whole, it was a good revival. I think it was worth it. It wasn't perfect, but I'm glad that it happened. We live in an age of so many of these revivals. Fuller House started it. You had Roseanne. You've had so many of these, like I said, Night Court and many others. And, it's nice that we got to see Dr. Frasier Crane again, him and Roz, him going back to Seattle into the radio station in that episode in season 2 here of the revival. So I'm glad it happened. It is too bad that it is canceled. Maybe Hulu or Prime will try to save it. But at this point, I'm not so sure. But there we are. So if you haven't watched the Frasier revival and you're a diehard fan, you got Paramount Plus, I say watch it. It's 20 episodes. They're worth your time. Take a week and you should enjoy them. We'll be back here next Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern for more LCJ Live. We'll preview how Dogman is going to do at the box office, along with Companion and some other films. We'll see how Flight Risk does this weekend. Flight Risk could be number 1, but horror, even though Wolfman didn't do well, horror's still hot. Maybe Presence is a surprise. I don't see Colors Within could do okay. And then you're talking about nationwide expansions of some Oscar films. Could The Brutalist, I don't know, make a run at $7-8 million bucks? Could The Brutalist make a run at number 1? Maybe. It could get very interesting next weekend, for sure. And we'll break it all down, plus the latest on award season, where everything's at, and reactions to the Oscar nominations, which as of now are coming out Thursday morning. Get my thoughts and analysis all across social media and more. That's X at LCJ Reviews, Instagram at LightsCamJackson, lights-camera-jackson.com, toofast2films.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you for watching LCJ Live. We're here every Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern with the box office, with award season analysis, and more. Stay safe, stay well. My thoughts and prayers still to everyone in Los Angeles. And hope the Oscar nominations, hope there's a few surprises. I'd like to see a few surprises. We'll see what happens on Thursday morning. Take care. Have a good week. Happy Popcorn Day. And fly, Eagles, fly. Bye-bye.